I grew up in Castro Valley, California, not far from here, a still vaguely rural middle-class suburb. My parents raised me and my younger brother and sister in Congregation Shir Ami, a small, laid-back Reform synagogue in walking distance from our house. It's the only synagogue in Castro Valley, but there's churches on every corner. My family is Jewish, on both sides, as far back as we can trace folks to Poland and Russia. My great-grandparents are of the generation that emigrated to America at the turn of the century. The values we learned at home that were reinforced in our shul are the importance of family, educational achievement, kindness and respect for everyone, a strong sense of fairness, and the importance of activism to make the world better. Are these Jewish values? In my home, they were. And most prominently, the notion of tikkun olam, our obligation to repair the world, stands out in my consciousness as the Jewish value that most anchors my sense of morality. I always understood being Jewish as something special. I took that whole chosen people thing very personally early on. I remember being in preschool, where I was the only Jewish kid, and my mom working out an arrangement with a teacher that every time I wanted to ruin Christmas for the other kids and blurt out, "There is no Santa Claus," I had to pull the teacher aside and whisper it in her ear. Talk about feeling superior to my peers at age 3. And then in elementary school, not only did my mom launch a successful campaign to rename Santa's Secret Shop, where the kids would go and buy Christmas presents for their family, to the Holiday Gift Boutique, so my brother and sister and I could participate, but she also came to our classes every year and taught about the Hanukkah story and brought gelt and dreidels for my classmates. So we were different, to be sure, but our traditions were pretty cool. And in some ways, not so different. I was a Girl Scout for 9 years, I played competitive soccer, I was active in student government, took piano lessons, all the other things that my suburban non-Jewish peers were doing. But summers meant Jewish day camp, first as a camper and then as a camp counselor. My bat mitzvah is one of my happiest teenage memories, and I taught Sunday school shortly thereafter. In high school, without a lot of fanfare, I came out as gay. By contrast, I have always been out as a Jew. Suffice it to say, I grew up steeped in the Jewish community of the East Bay. And while I grew up in a family of progressive activists, it's only recently, as an adult, that I might identify as a Jewish activist. The religious, faith-based aspect of being Jewish does not feel as crucial to me personally as the action-based component, the work to improve the world that we live in. Having felt like an adult since becoming a bat mitzvah, when I finally became a legal adult at the age of 18, I made 5 important choices, somewhat unconsciously. They must have been the right choices because I have not deviated from that path. Number 1, I voted for the first time. Okay, that was a conscious choice, and I was pretty excited about it. Number 2, I began working for the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, where I have held 5 different jobs, and I'm proud to say I still work today. Number 3, I moved out of my parents' house, and I never looked back. But we're close, and I keep in touch, and I call often, don't worry. Number 4, I fell in love with my life partner, Claire, who was not Jewish, and I could not care less. Number 5, I put down roots in Oakland, and we live in Alameda today. And being Jewish as an adult? Well, in college, I was not involved in anything particularly Jewish, except for holidays with my family. And in my 20s, I did not participate in the plethora of young adult Jewish activities available to me because they mostly felt like singles events, which were incongruent with my life. But in 2006, when I was 25, I met someone who was part of an organization called the Progressive Jewish Alliance. This organization's mission, working for economic justice, in solidarity with communities of color and other working people, reflected my Jewish values. I sent in a membership check and steadily increased my involvement over the years. I now co-chair the Bay Area Regional Council of a national organization comprised of the groups formerly known as Progressive Jewish Alliance and Jewish Funds for Justice. Stay tuned for our new organizational name to be announced later this spring. We work across lines of race and faith in alignment and in partnership with other communities to organize for access to health care, a higher minimum wage, and more affordable housing. We also invest funds in community lending projects, engage Jews in service learning, and train Jews to be social justice leaders. We believe that American Jews play an important role in reviving movements for social justice in our country, bringing to bear the full spectrum of our collective financial, institutional, and volunteer resources to support social change. In a nutshell, this is what being an American Jew means to me. I turned 30 in December, and feel good about where I am in my life. This is the decade of intention, of being awake, aware, and accountable to myself, my family, and my community. While I think I made some good choices at age 18, and have been grown up for a while now, I'm in a position to be more reflective in virtually every aspect of my life. My partner and I recently made the decision not to have children, something I know is frowned upon in many parts of the Jewish community, though there are equally compelling environmental and economic reasons to choose to be childless by choice. As a Jewish girl growing up here in the relatively liberal Bay Area, I have always been aware that once I completed my education, launched a successful career, and settled down with a Jewish partner, male or female was okay. I was then to produce Jewish babies. While not having children is among the most personal decisions a woman can make, and while I believe that all our decisions have a socio-political context, I think people should only become parents if they really want to. I admire and appreciate those who feel called to be parents, Jewish and otherwise, who take the time to raise thoughtful, caring, responsible young people. Nevertheless, having Jewish children does not feel as urgent to me personally as what I can do for the Jews and non-Jews alive today to improve the conditions under which people live. My priority is the present, to counter the forces that are decreasing people's quality of life in our communities. The issues we face as humans, from the struggles to be treated fairly by our government, to have the opportunity to earn a living wage in a dignified manner, to live in a non-toxic environment, and to peacefully coexist with our neighbors, can feel overwhelming at times. So I focus on what I know, joining others to play a part here in America, in the Bay Area, as a Jewish activist. And I devote my energy to advocating for what I believe is fair and right. And thank you for listening. I look forward to hearing your stories also.